friends, my lovely audiences, welcome to the East West Show. Jack Chow on the East West Show with the G&E TV. For the past few days, the whole country been overjoyed with, the whole world been overjoyed with what had happened in Singapore, when the two leaders, the United States and North Korea, met for a summit. After that, we heard some news reporting, positive information, and 1, 2, 3, 4, they had in 4 areas made a common sense, made some agreement. So after that, as time goes by, people start to think, is that going to be true? Well, is it that we are too naive? Is it that there is something behind, or whatsoever? To follow the guideline provided by former President Ronald Reagan, trust but verify, we have a discussion today with my dear friend, Mr. Wei Long, an educator, first of all. He's a special commentator on the international affairs. He himself has been an international person, flying back and forth, and every time fly over North Korea, I believe. All right, between China and the United States, where he put the two systems by putting his curriculum together to create the third one, which is proven to be successful and is being promoted, being introduced to China, both China and the United States. Mr. Wei Long, welcome to the show.
Jack, thank you very much for inviting me for your show, as usual.
Very good, very good. So I believe that you and I are the same, that we feel overjoyed on learning what had happened in Singapore, right?
That is correct. It's an excitement development between two countries, which has come from the two extreme poles in the world.
But the time goes by, especially when you look back into the 4 areas that they had the common ground, I should say. There are other areas to think about, other possibilities to think about. Do you really feel comfortable about what had been promised mutually?
That's, I think, personally, first of all, this is the excitement, a historical moment in the world, in history. It's contemporary history, because countries like the United States and North Korea can sit together and had a very nicely talking and had a meal together. 2 leaders shake hands multiple times. Itself symbolized a historic and milestone moment that this world is going to be a peaceful world. That's the symbol I took away from this meeting. Number one.
Okay.
And specifically, we do not have something especially for details on table yet, but I do see some tunnel in the night, night in the tunnel, I'm sorry. I do see the intention that both sides would work on something that will lead to a more peaceful world, especially peninsula. That is second signal I took away from it. And of course, there's a lot of, thirdly, there's a lot of criticizes from both sides, especially from United States, that criticizing that Donald Trump didn't bring enough sincere results and very traceable specific development, especially compromises. I mean, the promises from the other side, which is from North Korea's leader. And for that, probably we need leave some time to observe and to see how it would develop. But overall, I'm very happy and very optimistic about this summit.
I do agree with you. Of course, it's never wrong to feel overjoyed, excited about the historical movement, the historical handshake, the historical arm touching.
I'm touching, that's
the
right.
historical shoulder patting, something like that, okay, which everywhere, by every sense, by all means, the first ever in history especially for the past 65 years. Right?
That's right. That's right.
The thing is that if you look at the 4 areas where they have made the common ground, they are much more to a framework than details. And of course, lots of people believe the two had a 45-minute long discussion with nobody else but interpreters. 2 interpreters and the 2 of them, only 4 altogether, right? And these information has never been released.
Released yet.
All right. So, and I believe you have too. What I have here are those disagreements or are those guidelines, the bottom lines, each of them would hold, right? What do you comment on this one? The first one on yours says that Kim Jong-un insisted the denuclearization should be a periodic and a simultaneous process down the road. What did he mean? What could he mean? Do you give a thought? Have you given a thought?
Yeah, I did. I think this. I believe that because when I see this agreement on the table, my reaction on this is that this is a typical business talk that grabbed the intention of the promise from the other side, from the other side of the table, and basically, specifically for the demutualization of the nuclear weapon, for the armament of the nuclear weapon from the other side.
You mean disarm?
Disarm. I'm sorry, and it is. I think it is trying to grab the promise from the other side.
Yeah, basically.
No more than that.
Yeah.
Nothing more than that.
No, there's more.
There's no execution
there's
plan
more
for this one. That's
in
my
what he meant to say, right? He says periodic and a simultaneous movement.
That's right.
Right? Okay. Which according to my connotation,
Yes.
I would say periodic means that you set up a step by step,
Yes.
right? Whereas simultaneous means when I reach my step 1, you have your step 1, right? And then when I reach my step 2, you go to your step 2. In other words, if I want 100 million tons of grain, if I bomb up my first nuclear system, and you should give me the 100 million tons.
I understand that.
Then when I do my second step, you should give me another 100 million tons.
That's right.
Am I right?
Yes, that could be bring the two sides into an unlimited, never-ending process of a negotiation. Well, there's no essential result could be achieved. By saying that, I mean that if you think about that, North Korea has 141 sites where the production of nuclear weapon can be conducted.
141.
141. What's the timeline for those disarmament of those 141 sites of nuclear production? 1 year site, one site a year, one site every 2 years, last about 280 years, or 41 years if one side 1 year. It's an endless process. What I mean, it is just the beginning is that we are lacking of specific steps on execution of this.
Yes, exactly. We exactly worry about that.
That's right. That's my worry.
The length could be stretched to be over lengthy, to be extensively long.
That's right.
So that during the time interval, anything could happen.
That is correct.
Anything could happen, right?
What about the change of the leadership of North Korean side?
Yeah, all right, okay.
How about our side?
Yeah, what about Donald Trump did
right.
not get reelected?
That's right.
Right. So things could happen. So stretched to a longer span of time.
That's what I mean.
So, well, Kim has more room of operation.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
That said, though, there are, of course, the optimistic side of analysis of that saying, and they say, I mean, the nuclear experts say, when you degrade yourself to a certain level, it's going to be irreversible.
Irrevocable. That's
Yeah,
right.
irreversible. In other words, you will not be capable of bringing it up again.
That's right.
In other words, it's a kind of a debilitation process. You cut off one arm, and it may heal, it may get healed, and it never grow another arm. So, that if that is true, probably we still have hope. How do you comment on that part?
That's also we need to see a little bit more than just agreement, because what does mean irreversible, right?
Irreversible,
What's the
yes.
milestone? What's the symbols of irreversible? Who gonna be set up the benchmark for those irreversible process
Point
and
is
status?
that once they can do it one time, they can do it a second time.
Well,
Right.
we need a specific plan.
Maybe it
That's what
takes
I mean.
longer. We need a
it takes a
specific
lot
plan,
longer,
right?
and also we need to
So,
clarify
The
and verified by the both sides, agreeable, irreversible symbol of disarmament.
the certain fact was that the two words, periodic and simultaneous, would not work.
Periodic and simultaneous could happen. I think that's very easy to operate. You do one step, my step will be follow up.
But
That's
how many
basically-
steps, right?
That's right.
Yeah, all right,
That's
good.
right.
Of course, the information given was in Chinese. I'm not sure the word periodic was correct. Neither am I sure about the simultaneous being correct.
That's
However, it says the same thing, says the same word. With me today is my good friend, Mr. Wei Luo, founder and CEO of California Sunshine Education Center. An educator himself, he is a commentator, pretty special commentator on this show, especially today. We're talking about from the grassroots point, how we, the overjoyed people, look at the result, quote unquote, that we have achieved. So stay with us. We will be back right away. Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West with the G&E TV. In talking about the aftermath of the summit meeting in Singapore, though, we, in addition to getting overjoyed, find some areas of trepidation. We find out that we need to have a solid schedule to hold on before we really can get overjoyed with. Right? The solid schedule means that even though the word periodic is mentioned, how periodic? How many steps? And versus each of the steps, what should happen? Kim made it clear that he had, on this information given in Chinese, of course, unverifiable information, he says that he will not accept the terms, the words of permanent, variable, irrevocable denuclearization. In short, it is called PVID, permanent, variable, verifiable, irrevocable, and denuclearization.
Denuclearization.
Right.
That's right.
And there's another one saying the CVID, which is says CVID. What does C mean? I cannot figure out. That he says that
Comprehensive.
Comprehensive, yeah. Yeah, those are, he says, are the terms to be utilized onto defeated countries at war. So I'm not a defeated country, so I'm not accepting those words. How do you comment on those?
I think I do agree. He has a reason. He has a reason to not to take those words, terminologies, on his behalf, on his country's behalf. I think he has a
He's
reason.
not a clumsy guy, isn't he?
He is quote unquote talented leader, as President Donald Trump said.
And he is smart.
He's smart.
He's smart,
So
right.
I agree with him. I agree with him.
He's stupid in principle, but he's smart.
That is correct, because I think Korean War ended with both sides compromises in the middle line of 38 degrees, right? And North Korea was not defeated. So was the North-South Korea.
It was a Caesar war.
It is a Caesar war.
Caesar war. It's
that's
not,
right.
Not a country winning, country defeated. No.
I do see his stand, and also I understand his stand in somewhat. I am kind of agree with his stand.
From a Korean point of view, though, he is kind of like sober-minded.
Sober-minded.
He's still sober-minded, right?
That is correct.
Let's move on. And he says that he will call for prohibition of any flyover and a vessel going in and out that carries nuclear weapons to be in the presence of the whole peninsula. That, of course, including South Korea. Right?
That's right.
Right. Remember, he says in and out, flying over, in and out vessels and flying over aircrafts that carries the nuclear weapons. That's a heavy demand requirement.
Well, it is, to me, it is a symbolic statement, or it is a symbolic inquiry.
You think so?
To the U.S. side, because technically, how could he verify that whether or not the vessels and airplanes fly over the peninsula with nuclear weapon on board? How can he verify that? Right? It is technically it's impossible, but symbolically he has to make that declaration.
Just a symbolic of his position.
It is more. Right. It is more symbolic than operational.
All right. And he further says that he will call for a forbidden of providing protection to South Korea, including the THAAD system. You know the THAAD protection system, defense system?
That's right.
Right? And to call for a forbid for any military exercises that includes nuclear weapons.
That is, I think that's accepted by the U.S. side already. And right after the meeting, Donald Trump ordered cancellation of joint military exercises. Temporary cancellation. But it has a terminology called it snackback. If something did wrong and does wrong or went wrong, and U.S. military forces can come back right away. That is called a snap back, right?
Snap back. Okay, snap back, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, in other words, he made his position clear, right?
And also, U.S. also made.
He doesn't want to be himself referred as a defeated country, right? And then, as a sovereignty, he has over his sky.
That's right.
He has over his water.
That's right.
Right. So he called it forbidden for flying over vessels going in and out of his water, or even the northern peninsula water, and that anything that carries nuclear weapons, including he calls for a forbidden for military exercises that it carries or utilizes nuclear weapons.
Or whatever the weapons that military exercises is temporarily be canceled or hold on during the negotiation period, or we will say probation. I would put my word probation. Before we see the real.
There are many materialistic
That's right.
request.
That is
He
correct.
says that U.S. should provide to them a quantity of economic and humanitarian support that's equivalent to 1 million tons of heavy crude oils, equivalent to 1 million metric tons. That's a big amount of.
There's a big amount of the supply of the crude oil, and also the business loans, and also the under the ODA, the plan also put the North Korean government on the ODA plan, which is American aid plan to the countries on the list, and he wanted to be on that list, which
There's
is
a nuclear
big
plant for power for
and also yes, a
civil use.
yeah, that's a civil nuclear plant for its power supply. That's a big supply, and that's a big request. And also asking U.S. to match up 20% of what China supplied the country, and in a year first, in 5 years to match up 50% what China supplies the North Korea
And in
for
10
its
years
in
to
10
be
years make it
100%.
even. That's I think that's a very strategic request. And from the North Korean
This
side
guy
to the
did
US
his
side,
homework a
he
lot.
did his
Right.
according to the news and as well as the rumors around that he read thoroughly, back and forth, the book, the art of the deal by Donald Trump before the meeting. So he did over thorough homework before went to the meeting. While our side, meaning
now United States should provide them for phase number one. About 20% of China has provided them.
that's right.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's
and,
a lot.
And let me
Ever
let me
since the ending, I mean the pause of the war of 1953,
and let me share.
China has never ended supporting them.
That is correct. And also, let me share the background information with you and our audience. Why Kim went to the summit this easily, that quickly? It's just because China joined the sanction plan, really cut off the supply of oil, food to North Korea last year.
Okay.
And then put him and make him sit on the table with China, and also Mr. Xi Jinping asked him to sit.
Yeah, that's why Donald Trump, in his speech, thanked China.
Thank China. That's
for
right.
Being
The
part
first.
for being part of efforts.
That is correct.
Right.
So Donald Trump know how much effort China has put on this summit before the event. So I think that's
this 20%, in other words, declares a specific number in quantities
that's right. And
that
also
he's asking for.
my interpretation about this quantity number, match-up quantity number from the U.S. side to the China side, indicates me that Kim wanted to get rid of China's relationship. It's not a relationship.
It's his freedom.
It's a kind
It's
of
his freedom, right.
He tried not to manipulate it.
He may choose who to back to.
That is correct.
All right.
He tried to get rid of municipation.
It's better to
from
China, okay.
For him, it's a municipation because he basically didn't want to sit back.
And for
with
China, it's good too.
That's right.
Right?
That's
well,
right.
China has,
Anyway.
has a little less bigger the door.
It looks like to me that he's basically playing a game between two superpowers in the world, going down the world. I will see. I will just conservatively. I hold
In
up my.
other words, he's been a crying baby, right? The difference that
It's not a crying baby.
To whom it cries.
He was a crying baby. Now he is a chess player.
All right, good. The crying baby stopped crying and started playing chess.
That's right.
All right. While playing chess, though, China used to give me this much. You got to give me 20%.
That's right.
Or otherwise, I go back.
In the other side, if U.S. match up what the China supply with him, the level that what China supplied to him, and then he has the power to bargain between two countries. That's the afterwards show.
Whatever. However, he uses the nuclear stuff as a bargain chip, right? But the United States is prepared.
In this regard.
Till the worst happens, of course, we know what to do.
That's right.
We
In
know
this
what to do.
regard,
Either way.
Kim is the biggest winner.
No. He might not be because
He will be the
wanna
biggest winner.
We want to do what we want to do. We have our final single target, denuclearization. If you do it my way
Well,
or the hard way.
it looks like it should be the rationale behind that.
As for a few dollars of support, it's no big deal.
But so far, we
us.
haven't seen the proof of that yet.
I know. We're talking about a word. It's a
We need to see the proof.
It's a lip service so far.
That's
All
right.
Good.
That's right.
My dear friends, with my special commentator, Mr. Wei Luo, we are checking the points that need to be checked. Even in the bigger environment of feeling overjoyed about what had happened with the summit. At the summit in Singapore, we believe that we're sober-minded. We got to keep ourselves sober-minded, exactly like the title of this show today says, which is quotation from Ronald Reagan: "Trust but verify." Right. So, stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, my dear fellow Americans. Welcome back to the discussion about the aftermath of the summit at Singapore. Americans are overjoyed. The whole world are getting overjoyed. And somebody wins, somebody loses. This specific point, there's no specific winner to talk about. Neither do we have specific losers to talk about. We are on the 1-to-1 basis. Everybody left us with a smile, right? Especially Donald Trump. He gets so excited. He is proven right. He is a successful businessman, and he did one big business. I would say probably the biggest of his life, also the biggest of the contemporary world. With my friend, Mr. Luo Wei, founder and CEO of California Sunshine Education Center, who is also a special commentator on my show, talking about the analysis of it after the summit. Those are those points that are to be considered. We know that they had 45 minutes of conversation. Welcome back to the show. They had 45 minutes of closed-door conversation. Lots of points might have been exchanged, right? There's his stand, there's the American stand. On the American side, this information, which is given to us in Chinese, says that Donald Trump has made it his position so clear, number one, that the PVID and it is CVID, so permanent, verifiable, irrevocable denuclearization has remained, firmly remained, no change. He'll stick to it. And the CVID, the comprehensive,
verifiable,
irreversible denuclearization has to stay. Both have to stay. And your comment on that, please?
Yeah, I have already did that. I think that the Kim has a legitimate reason to asking not to use those terminology, while the U.S. side definitely needs some specific marks in terms of how that irrevocable, how the verifiable can be agreed by the both sides, because to the Kim to the U.S. side we need to remove any threat from the superpower, from the top down into Kim, and make him treat him as a equal partner. And as far as Kim's statement or declaration, I believe that U.S. need to take away some of the heavy weight over that terminology and make it an equal partner.
But those terminology, these two are the most important. Donald Trump insisted. The PVID and the CVID, Donald Trump insisted that they have to stay. That it stands for the American stand. American, where Americans stand firmly.
I believe that the number one, I mean, the provision number one, or the point number one is the most disagreeable appointment that need to be, need more negotiation between two parties in going forward. I believe that their team going to be working on that.
But then it's the same story.
We will see the development.
You feel uncomfortable with the terms. The U.S. says that we want to stay on the terms, stay firm on the terms, and then let's negotiate.
There's a huge gap in between, and I need
let's
more
negotiate.
work on that one.
Let's negotiate. All right. For example, permanent. How to call him permanent?
That's right. We need to materialize that.
To what extent it becomes permanent?
That's right.
Verifiable. How to verify?
Who to do the verification?
Who to do the verification? Where to?
That's right. That's right.
And Donald Trump says it below.
That's right.
Very specific. Donald Trump did his homework too. Okay, and then for the irreversible, the irreversibility has a definition too, right? Like I said, 30% or 70%. Or 50%.
Let's go back to beginning of the show. 141 sites. How are you gonna demilitarize?
Oh yeah, of course.
How are you gonna disassemble those sides? Right. Those we need a plan. We need to see the plan.
Let's say half of it by numbers.
Or every week of it. One of every week.
Oh yeah,
or
by
one every month.
every month.
We need a timeline on
right?
that.
With a timeline on that.
That's right.
If it is every week, we're talking about 3 years.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
If it's every month, we're talking about 1.5 decade.
That's right.
Or something like that.
15 years.
50 years.
Yes. Some experts, I do see some commentators from Brookings, New York Times, and those institutions, think tank people, they are predicting that disarmament will take about 10 to 15 years. That's probably about right, because every year, every one for each week, right? That's
why the word
that's
periodical.
A heavy work. That's a
the
heavy
word
destruction
periodical
work.
works.
That's right.
Right. You can't get it overdone overnight.
And plus, it can be stopped any moment if something goes wrong. So.
Yeah, all right. But to a point of irreversible, there's no way to go back.
That's right.
Right.
Just completely remove it, destruct it.
And then giving them another 65 years to go back to stage one.
And also, according to Donald Trump's plan, also immigrants take those 1,000 scientists away from the country and put them into a third-party country, and then supervise them for residence over there permanently.
So in other words, they will be short of manpower of doing so.
That's right. Not only remove the material side, but also remove the manpower labor part.
Permanently remove those guys out of the country, and put them elsewhere, whereby they can be watched.
That's a tough job. I don't know how they're going to be.
That's a tough call.
That's a tough call, and
that's a courageous call.
I'm very interested to see how this is going to be executed.
Well, anyway, all right. Anyway,
we'll see. Interesting.
The one thing that Donald Trump make it very clear, that is that of nuclear materials to be shifted to Tennessee. All right, in Tennessee, at the Tennessee plant, they do the denuclearization, the explosion, the abolishment whatsoever there.
That's right. That's doable. That's definitely doable.
That's doable.
If Kim is sincere enough, he can do it accordingly. There's no question about it.
So once again,
and the U.S. cannot make any compromise after that.
Once again, it's a quantity.
It's a quantitative.
It's a quantity and the frequencies.
That's right.
Right.
That's a quantitative step that Kim can do. Definitely can do. If he cannot do it, or he's not willing to do that, we're going to be worried, a doubt about his sincerity about the summit.
How do you comment about his request of the compensation plan? So for the 20%, for the 50%, for the 100% whatsoever. So do you think Donald Trump will capitulate himself? You know, that's a black hole. That's a black hole. And do you think American taxpayers will agree with him?
Well, you raised up a very good big question, and I'm not sure if I can answer that. But one thing I want to, from my personal perspective, I want to make sure, or I'm pretty sure, is that Donald Trump will definitely not doing what he requests to. In return, Donald Trump would definitely bargain on the terms and conditions on that. For example, behind Donald Trump's mind, he's looking at a huge business opportunity that North Korea would provide to the world.
All right, good.
Think about his words during the after conference statement. He said that, take a look at what South Korea is doing and north of China is doing. In between, there's a huge opportunity for them. For example, they can build a lot of the hotels on the shore side, and there's potential.
McDonald's, the Kentucky Fried Chicken, or
that's right. Donald
Pizza
Trump
Hut,
everywhere.
anything.
Behind his mind,
Yeah,
he definitely see a lot of Donald Trump power booming everywhere in North Korea.
That's
10 years from now.
That as a condition, as a future picture, do you think he will have relatively easier job, convincing the two houses to buy his plan, to cut the money to support North Korea?
This is the business-oriented country, and as far as he can make sound business sense out of North Korea's declaration and disarmament, I believe that his party will let him go, but it's up to Democratic Party, other side of the table, to decide whether or not he will just let him go for whatever he wanted to go.
And yet he has only 2 years or 6 years in the longest.
Well, I think that
such a short plan. We're talking about 15 years, right?
Let me tell you, he has a high possibility to be re-elected if economy goes as well as of today.
All right, that's another issue,
Another issue
day.
we can talk about.
But it's good. It's good. And we can eyewitness everything. I believe that we can make a point that this guy, our President Donald Trump, is good. Oh, by the way, today is his birthday.
Oh.
Yeah, it is.
Happy birthday, Mr. Trump.
It's his 72nd birthday. Happy birthday, my president. Right. For what you have done, I first time did this. All right, good. All right, my lovely friends, my dear audience, is welcome for the show. But we take a short break. We'll be back, continue to find out. We put everything together, Russia, China, United States, Korea, and South Korea, and Japan, and Europe was together to see who will be benefited from what. Stay with us, please. Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West Show with the GNE TV. Today with me is my good friend, Mr. Wei Long, founder and the CEO of California Sunshine Education Center. He himself is a researcher. He is internationally doing lots of issues on education and on politics. For this one that we specially invited him over about is that to give analysis about the aftermath of the summit. There are lots of details has not yet been published yet, has not yet been made to the public awareness yet. We have a long way to go. They have a long way to go. We have probably a longer way to go, if I'm right. So back to the point though, we were talking about the business could be benefited from the situation.
That's right.
I agree with you. The whole North Korea, I know its population is about 24 million something.
25.
25 million?
That's right.
And do you know its land? How big the land, square mileage or whatsoever?
It's about 120,000 million square feet.
Oh yeah, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
No,
No,
it can't-
120,000
No, it can't be that.
square kilometers.
Let's
120,000 kilometers.
let's find out exactly, because we don't want to cheat.
Anyway,
uh-huh.
I mean, north side, the land for the north side is a little bit bigger than the south side.
North is bigger than south.
That's right. That's right. And but only half of the population, as half of the population of the south. So
Population is 24 or 25 that I know of, and for the territory of whatever this is.
it's about 120,000 square kilometers.
Given the given territory of their land, I would say every inch is open, could be open for anything.
1.2 million, I would say, kilometers.
No, it can't be.
It's good. It's
China has
9
9
million.
million,
Not 9 million.
9.6 million.
9.6.
They
that's
can't
right.
be. They can't be 1 million. No, they're not.
1 million. I'm sorry.
Could be.
Yeah,
could be.
1
1 million square miles.
1.2. Yeah.
This is stops
1.2.
working anyway.
It's 9. It's 1/9 of what
So
China is.
every square inch of their land is a good land for business opportunity.
That is correct, because basically Korea has the most mineral mines in the world. He has every minerals. And
okay.
what do you need? You copper, wine, and iron, and you name it. It's mineral-rich country. Number one.
All right. Okay.
And number two, it has a lot of potential economically, because as of I am aware of, the per capita GDP is only about $700 US dollars up as of 2016, compared to 29,000 US dollars per capita per people GPA of South. So compared to those sides, there's huge opportunities. Basically, North Korea is today compared to 40 years ago China, it has a lot of similarity on that part.
And for that, though, Donald Trump would have an easier job convincing his party, convincing his followers, who are also land developers and business developers, to go by lobby with the Congress,
That's right.
both houses,
That's right.
to agree to buy whatsoever as promised,
That's
20%, 50%, 100%.
That's right.
Well, do you think that makes a possibility?
That makes it very, very possible for the U.S. to do so, because if you do see, if you see a little bit 1 step or 2 steps ahead of the plan, you will see if both north and south side unified together and put together, it's about a 70 million population in the world. It's bigger than any Western European countries in the world, right? Germany is only it's only 80 million in population, and France only have 70 million in population. If both South Korea and North Korea put together, it's over 80 million population in the world. It's one of the top 10 countries in terms of popularity in the world. Think about those 80 million people will eat, will drive, will education. They are going to be a big buyer. Huge
market demand, right?
Market demand over there. They are gonna be a big buyer for the U.S. products in the world. So it's going to be the second booming of the economy over there in the peninsula if everything goes well. So I do see that.
That all said, though, let's put the picture in the most shrinked way. To think of Kim Jong-un as a person, as a man of 35 years age, right? Educated a little bit, right, abroad, right? And he speaks, by the way, perfect English. He does himself.
That's right.
Okay, now, let's do this. Let's do some assumptions. Assume if he chooses to lie to play games for the purpose of going back to nuclearize the whole thing until someday the goal is reached, right? What would happen to him?
Well, that's basically, he will see the end of this regime. There's no question about it, because China will not buying it, and U.S. definitely, and his South partner, his South brother will not buy it. There's nobody will buy in his plan to rearm with a nuclear weapon down the road. And also, he was educated, his K-12 education in the Western world. He see how prosperity people leading a life over there, and compared to what his life, what their life in his country, he would definitely see the huge discount. I don't know if you noticed a picture when he was overlooking from his balcony in Singapore hotel to see the line views of Singapore, and he was in a deep thinking in front of a lot of people. I believe in the back of his mind, he said, "Wow, I want my people living same or close style life in my country." So that is normal, normal assumption as a leader, of 25 million people.
That's a good analysis.
Reasonably, we believe.
Very human perspective.
That's right. Reasonably, we
think about that. And also, if he goes on his way, he might get killed, either by foreign insurgent, right, or by his own people, because they can't starve to death. They got to upright, right? The uprising people might get him killed.
Right? Only he knows the history.
Right, they know they are, of course. We're gonna land him lots of book about how the dynasty.
I believe he will.
Well, so anyway, so to think on the other side, like you said, finally open his eyes. A guy who's been blinded, hasn't seen anything, and somebody cured the eye, brought back the visibility of a visual visibility, and he started to see the world and see how prosperous people are living, right? How happily people are, things like that. And he might want to go this way. And going this way doesn't cost him much. And he can just wait there for the money to arrive. Am I right?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And also, let me make a correction on what you just said, is that the country is isolated, but he is not. He has overwhelming information overseas from internationally, and also he knows everything what's going on outside of North Korea, and he was educated in the Western world. Wow, he knows what to do.
He has his own source of information, that's for sure.
As our president's words, he is a talented people.
But to the most of Korean people, I mean the people though, once they open their eye, I believe then the uprising will be the next day.
Well, we don't know yet.
Let them see where we are, how we live.
We don't know yet. They will change. They will change.
Anyway, now, put these two sides in evaluation, though. If you were him, would you choose going his way, or would you choose go the recommended way?
Well, definitely, if I were him, definitely he is doing something right. To my perspective, to my opinion, is that he's gonna leading this country, opening up his country, and to give his people a better life. Whether or not he can do that depends on how China and the U.S. will help him in a positive way, not a military way, not the way that we treated him before. That's my words.
And that is the new way now. And he starts to see the new way now.
That's right.
The new way right in front of him.
Right. I just read a news data showing that under his leadership in the past 6 years, North Korea has led an economy by the growth of 4% in the past 5-6 years already. That is success. That's a huge successful number compared to what we have only 2 or 3% of economic growth over here in the country. That's a huge progress that he has made. He has a lot of potential.
On the other hand,
so is the country.
Yeah. On the other hand, going back to his own way though costs a lot of efforts for him, right? Going this way, going the recommended way, which is now, he doesn't need to do anything.
That's right.
Just
China
go home, tell his people, you guys go pack up and try to stop it within right now. Give me a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 15-year plan, whatsoever.
In this
and then
regard,
here's the plan.
That's right.
Where there goes the money.
To add to your words, I think that in this momentum, in this picture, that China is someone to push him in the back, and the U.S. is someone to pulling his nose in front of the path.
Okay.
And both sides and both countries, both super economically, military superpower in the world, is pushing him into the right way that his people will be better off.
All right, I like that. Let China push behind by cutting
Suppliers.
supplies down to zero.
Temporarily.
Now it's not down to zero.
That's
Still
right.
something.
That's right.
And the U.S. say, hey, going this way. Okay, here's the
Putting his
food.
nose.
Here's the food. Something
right.
like that, right?
That's right.
Okay. Now, my dear friends, that's a very positive discussion. Even though all the negative signs are discussed, but the situation are still very positive. The credit goes to my friend, Mr. Wei Luo, founder and CEO of California Sunshine Education Center, also international politics analyzer. So, to my audiences, thank you for watching, and to Wei Luo, thank you for sharing.
Always.